Welcome to the Bitcoin Latam Report for the second episode. Today I have the pleasure to have Hugo Hernández with me, also known as Don Chambitas. So, welcome to La Casa, Hugo. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me here. Maciej, Maciej, am I pronouncing right?
Magic,
Ma
but it's
ma
normal, everybody gets wrong.
I heard that people were calling you Magic,
Mexican call me Magic.
Magic, and I
I think
think
it's easy,
so
easier.
much easier, yeah. And
Absolutely.
I like Magic, so thank you for having me here.
Perfect. So, this is a podcast in English. So, just to give a little bit of context, in Spanish, chamba means work, and your name is Don Chambitas
Yeah.
because you have worked in the remote work industry for a really long time. You have been pushing this industry for a really long time. So, can you tell us a bit, like, what's your background in this? Uh, what's your company doing and like the original story of what is Don Chambitas.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And once again, thank you for having me here. It's my first time in a podcast talking in English. So yeah, it's a challenge for me. But since I've been hosting a podcast too, I know this is about fun, so I'm gonna have fun. And replying to your question, well, I'm Hugo Hernandez. I'm a professional tech recruiter. I've been always a recruiter. s- I mean, right now and for the last 15 years, I guess, or more, I've been recruiting software engineers. But before that, I also was a recruiter. I used to recruit engineers for the automotive industry. And from 2009 that I've been recruiting only software engineers for the tech industry. Don Chambitas is a very fun story because when I first got to tech, at that time, my coworkers, all of them engineers, software engineers, were very fun and were this type of people, not formal people, like they didn't like formality and stuff. So when they asked me, "Hey Hugo, where are you going to find more like us, more software engineers?" I was not a technological guy by that time, so I told them, or maybe in the newspaper, maybe in the radio, maybe in the posting some job description in the news, and they told me, no, Hugo, we are in the most in the platform most new, and by that time the newest platform was Twitter, now X. I know that now it has changed, but for me it's Twitter. And then I got the idea to create a Twitter account that only tweet jobs, not tweeting my life or something like that, but tweeting jobs, like only to attract developers. So when I was thinking how to call to this Twitter account, I was thinking like something very formal, like Mr. Jobs, Mr. HR, or something like that. But then I realized, no, these guys are not formal. These guys are fun, right? So I thought, something in Spanish. And I was thinking, Don Chambas, Don Empleos, Don. And when it came to my mind, Don Chambitas, I thought that's the name. And honestly, I thought that username was only going to work between me and the developers of my town, but I didn't know that internet was from the world. And then people from different cities started follow my account. Then people suggested me you should have not only a Twitter but a Facebook and an Instagram account, a LinkedIn, on all with the brand Don Chambitas. And nowadays it's Don Chambitas. I think it's nowadays recruitment reference in Mexico, where you can find um, jobs for software engineers. And since I started using this account and using this brand, one of my rules has been tweeting fair jobs or sharing, not only tweet, sharing jobs with the open salary. That's one of the rules since I started, and that's why people trust in my jobs, because the salary is open. The companies have been very good, the ones that I have worked with. So yeah, that this is the story in short terms.
That's amazing. It's crazy to meet somebody like you that probably started, in the remote job industry before it was popular, before COVID, and the name is amazing. And I think I can confirm that your jobs that you refer people to are good, because I heard from a software developer here from La Casa de Satoshi, like, Don Chambitas, he offers really good jobs. So I know it's true because I heard it from somebody else. So apart from posting the job or making the link, what other services do you do inside your company? Do you also, uh, I don't know, coach the developers on how to do interviews? Like, what is it? Only posting the job, or there's something else also related to it?
Well, Don Chambitas as a brand was born only tweeting, posting jobs on internet, but nowadays I I manage this brand as a recruitment agency, and I provide of talent to companies. Most of the companies that I have working with these years are US based companies looking for talent in Latin America. So yes, as you mentioned, before COVID, before remote work was popular, I think since 2015, 10 years ago, I was recruiting software engineers to work for and directly for a US company from Mexico. Yeah, so I interview the software engineers, I vetted them, yeah, and I prescreen them and I present my clients, as I mentioned, are tech companies, and what I do is filter them, only this initial filter, this HR filter that includes reviewing the years of experience of the person, the technologies that they use, the level of English. Right now, I also check the experience working remotely, and then I send the developers that I think are the best according to my experience, to my eye, to my clients, and then the internal engineers of my clients review the technical side of the engineers. If some of these guys are selected, then the company pays to me. That's my business with the companies. But nowadays, I think you have lived this or heard this, that there's been a lot of unfortunately, there's been a lot of layoffs in companies. So it's been like from 2 years to now. So after these layoffs, I started thinking, what should I, how can I apport, how can my work impact in these people that is getting laid off, and now I offered also for the developers, for the engineers, the service of the reviewing the resume or preparing them for a new job, also looking helping them to look for a new job, ways to find a job, a new job, and that's my current services, like coaching for the developers.
Okay. So basically, your business models for years was that you were receiving a part of the salary, or maybe a fixed amount, if like the people you recommended ended up getting hired.
Yeah.
But now also you offer coaching. But do you also the developers pay you something for their coaching as well, or how does that work?
I didn't want to, but because in the past I always used to think, no, I only want to charge
Mm-hmm.
uh to the company,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I know the company has the money. But nowadays, and in the past, I review a lot of resumes for free
Mm-hmm.
because it also helped me to get to more developers, and eventually they became my candidates.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, yeah, I also have a fee for reviewing the resume, and it's been working good.
Mm-hmm.
And I charge this fee to the senior engineers
Uh-huh.
because I also review resumes from recent graduated developers or junior developers, and I don't want to charge them because yeah they are
You need
going.
a head start. You need to push them first. Yeah. So we prepare some question, but I have some a question that is off script maybe. So you don't have technical background, but how do you actually review uh, skills that are technical? Have you with time also learn a bit about coding enough, or you need to follow the trend of, I don't know, what is the next programming language that will be popular, or what are the frameworks that are popular at the moment? Like how do you also progress with your technical knowledge so you know who to vet or not? Do you have a process as well, or?
Sure, I like to keep myself updated about technologies, about languages, about new ways to code, right? And now with the AI, there's been also a lot of new ways of program or technologies. But what really worked for me was that in the beginning of my recruiter career, I was very young. I was younger than now, and I get along with a lot of software engineers, not only in the office but in the life. Like we used to go to several bars and beers and stuff, and even though they avoid talking about the work in the bars, in the beers, they ended up
Oh, yeah.
talking about their work. So listening to them in an very relaxed way about what they do, I learned a lot about technologies, about backend, front end, about CI, CD, about DevOps, about all of these terminologies that they use at their work, and about. But what I learned the most was to identify the real engineers, right? The people that really like their work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because um, uh, 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 I think this will sound um, I'm not sure how to say in English, but in the beginning of my career, I got to know very talented engineers. I'm not saying right now, I don't, but now everything is remotely. Everything works everyone works from their home. And in the past, before pandemic, like I used to go to a lot of meetups. I used to meet a lot of people, and meeting people in person makes me understand how or identify how the real engineer thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And after that, after having coworkers, very talented people, every time that I interview someone, I try to find. I know people is very different in several ways, but I always try to find patterns related to the people that I used to get along in the
Mm-hmm.
past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my rules is if for example, you mentioned I am not technical. I don't have a engineering background, but every time that in an interview someone can explain me their job so that I can understand it, I think it's a great
It's a good
developer.
sign. Yeah.
Exactly because could explain to someone that doesn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's I'm learning a lot with you now. Maybe I mean there is some I think obvious advantages from financial advantages from both sides because probably a company from abroad that hires in Mexico will pay a little bit less. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. And obviously, for a Mexican developer that finds a job abroad, he will probably get a way better salary than what he will find here in Mexico. But is there any other advantages for both sides or disadvantages? How do you, for example, sell your service to a company like?
Yeah. Well, working for a foreign company as a software engineer, I think has more advantages than disadvantages. Of course, the money, as you mentioned, is the salary is higher, and that makes every engineer to have a better quality of life. But but I think the one of the most important advantages is the cultural thing, right? Because when you work for a international company, you work with people from the world, and you learn different cultures, you learn different ways to think. Yeah, you learn also to communicate better, to have a more assertive communication when you work with not only with the people from your neighborhood of your from your town, right? Because when you work only with your local people, you think communication is only one way than open your mind. What I want to say, but um, sometimes the disadvantage working from a foreign company is that most of the foreign companies don't have a legal presence in Mexico, don't have an entity in Mexico, so they cannot offer the engineers the the Mexican benefits, which includes social security. In Mexico, we say IMSS, Infonavit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And s- not most, but many, several software engineers, all every time that I contact them for a new job, they always ask me, "Hey, I'm gonna have the social security because I have my kids, I have my wife, or I just want to have my social security for me and my mother, my family." And most of the foreign companies don't offer that, only the money, right? So I think that would be the only this advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So basically, even if they make way more money, they still want to have like the social package.
Yeah.
That's curious for me because okay, it's interesting. I didn't think about that, but
And because as you are I'm not sure if subscribe it's the word.
yeah, subscribe. Yeah.
Subscribe in the in the Infonavit, you along the years in Mexico, you are creating points to have your house in the future as
Mm-hmm.
well, right?
Yeah.
So many people, older people, I think like my age and Anna,
Mm-hmm.
always want that kind of benefits. I think the younger people now, they think
They can invest in Bitcoin and it goes up so much.
exactly, I want more money in the way money comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can buy my house with that amounts of money, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you also from the cultural perspective because I worked at Bitrefill. You probably heard about it. It's a company that sells gift card for crypto for Bitcoin, and they're a Swedish company, but they hire all over the world, and they also did like meetings in parts of the world. It was called the Bonanzas, and we party together, we work together, and there was people from Brazil, from Europe, from Canada, from Mexico. So even though we were coming from completely different parts of the world, everybody had to kind of adapt
Mm-hmm.
to the culture and have like a company culture as well. So I definitely agree if you find a company like this that also uh, provides you opportunities to meet other people all over the world. I think it's a really big advantage
Yeah,
with it.
but working for a company like this, you need to speak English, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and that's something I always tell the Mexican engineers that English is sometimes more important than doing a great code,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Because the coding skills you get you get better at this with the time, but most of the companies want you to speak English since the first day.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say like a majority of of Mexican software developers are speaking good English, or there's still a gap where they need to learn? And what would you advise for someone to learn English fast, for example, in Mexico?
In Mexico, well, in my case, I learn English by listening to music and well, in my time, like reading the song while listening to it in a paper because I used to print the lyric. But now it's easier. You can in Spotify you can listen to the song and read the lyric in at the same time. So
Right.
it's very easy. Or the most common reply when I ask the developers, how did you learn English? Playing video games.
Playing video games.
Yeah,
On the surprise.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
But how you say half of it are speaking good, or like how do
Yeah,
more or less the proportion? What do you think?
yeah, I think nowadays half. When I started recruiting back several years, it was like the 30% of the
Okay.
of the software engineers that I used to interview that they speak good English, like fluent English. I mean,
Hmm.
but nowadays more the younger engineers are speaking more English nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because we live in a now right now the world is globally, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
we
definitely.
live in a global world
And probably all the resources regarding coding are mostly in English,
in
so
English.
you have to kind of.
Exactly. That's the typical reply in my questions. Like, do you speak English? Well, I read it because all of the literature is in English,
Hmm.
but you speak it, man. Like, do you really speak it? Oh, sometimes. Yeah,
I see.
we are very uh, penosos in Mexico.
Penosos es, no sé. Hay
We,
otra palabra.
uh, we are ashamed
Ah,
that our pronunciation is.
shy, shy.
We're very shy about our
Timid,
pronunciation. We always
tímidos.
think that
Yeah.
our pronunciation is not the right one, and
Hmm.
and that's why we are afraid to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I told them every time when you work for a
Nobody cares.
international company, exactly
Everybody has different accents.
exactly you're gonna work with people from the India, from Africa, from
Yeah.
everywhere, and they have their own accent.
Yeah.
So dare to speak. Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah.
It's like me also. If I will be shy to speak Spanish, I will not learn. I wouldn't have learned as fast. I guess, and I still do a lot of mistakes, and it's part of the process. I think. You mentioned that there was like a downturn of hiring in the last 2 years, and that brings me like to the next question. Like, what do you think is the future of remote work? And there is AI. There's people getting scared it's gonna replace their job, but I think AI is not there yet to replace fully software engineers. It's gonna take many years, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
what is your view about this? Like, do companies stopped hiring because of AI and they don't want to take a step back and see how they can take advantage of it? Or what do you think will happen in the next 3 5 years, for example?
Well, from my perspective, Magic, I'm not an engineer, but with my experience recruiting engineers, sorry, um, the one of the um most of the most of the talented engineers that I still have communication with, they told me AI, they have told me AI is not going to replace them, right? AI is only giving them tools to make their work faster or more efficient,
Mhm.
right? That's what they say. But in the other side, uh, we read the news and more precisely this year 2025, the positions for junior engineers have been turning down is the word in English. And why, and the reason is because AI is doing the repetitive work that years ago the junior developers used to do. So yeah, I think of course AI is affecting to some of the labor market,
Mhm.
yeah, because the number of jobs for juniors have been reduced. So I think the future of works, at least in this industry, would be gaining skills in AI, gaining skills in data in general, because data is power right now. Data is like the new gasoline,
Mhm.
yeah. And data centers. Right now, talking to Santiago, he was telling me about this minería in English
Mhm.
is
Mining,
this mining,
Bitcoin mining.
this Bitcoin mining. It's all about energy. It's all about data centers,
Mhm.
right? So I think that's the future of the world, at least in tech, right? Machine learning, everything, every technology or tool that process data, that process information,
Mhm.
blockchain, all of these smart contracts, all of these new technologies that are not that new. They are coming from some years ago, but nowadays we listen about them more frequently than years ago.
Yeah.
So yes.
Are you aware more or less of the AI landscape in Mexico? I think I heard there is some companies opening data centers in Querétaro or something. Are you aware? Is there also some growth with that industry here, or is it all happening in the States? Or you have any?
It's curious magic because I also read this new about also was mentioned in the mañanera in the
Mm,
governance in Mexico that there will be a data center in Querétaro. I also heard the news about another data center in a state called Durango in the
mhm,
north of Mexico. Also another data center in Jalisco that is being promising, but uh, it's only news. But in the real thing, we don't see this
mm.
happen. So maybe in the future years, but not still coming.
For those who, because listeners are probably out of Mexico, La Mañanera, it's like uh, it's a press conference that the president of Mexico, at the moment, Claudia Sheinbaum, does every morning. It's something particular. So just wanted to, for people that don't know.
Thank you.
Okay. Before talking about the Bitcoin side of things, just to close like this whole discussion about remote work, you've mentioned good tips as well. Obviously, you need to speak good English. You need to uh, learn about AI as soon as possible. Do you have any other tips to share for a Mexican or somebody else that would like to get a remote work job? What would be an extra advice that you have?
Sure. Well, in Mexico, it's not something that many engineers like. I know for experience, but I think having a digital presence is is um, is something very required to get a remote work. And with a digital presence, I mean to have a LinkedIn profile very 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 well presented. I'm not sure how to say, but with a good photo, with a good cover, and more of the photo on the cover that the information of your experience is share is written very in a very assertive way, right? I think that's the secret of the power of having a good digital presence. Also, if you want to have your ex profile, your Facebook profile, would be good, but for the labor market, I think LinkedIn is the more well, is the social network that works the best. Also, as when I um when I contact an engineer and this person tells me that they have a personal website, that makes me think that they like technology, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they invest time in having their own domain, their own presence on the internet. That's very easy now to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but um, I think the advice that I like to give the most to have a work, uh, even if it's remote, hybrid, or in an office, is getting close to the community,
Mm-hmm.
to your local community. If there is no community in your hometown, because I know that there are several hometowns in Mexico with no tech communities, but get to the closer to your city,
Or
right?
you can create your own if it doesn't exist.
Exactly. That was happening in Colima, for example. I am from a very small town in Mexico that is called Colima.
Mm-hmm.
There was no communities like several years ago, and the local engineers of my town started a community that is still now 10 years ago. There's a meetup every 2 months,
Oh.
and a lot of people goes there because it's a time to say hi to your maybe to some co-workers because they work from home and
Mm-hmm.
it's opportunity to get along. So yeah, I think getting close to your community and not be afraid to ask to add recruiters in your LinkedIn network, right? And let them know that you are looking for a job. Let them know your abilities. Let them know your presence, right? Because when maybe in that time the recruiter is not going to have a word for you, but when the recruiter does the work, we're also going to think in the people that get close to us. So I think it's natural, it's human nature. We always think in the people that is talking to us frequently, right? So yeah, don't be afraid to add recruiters and let them know about you. Not in a urgent way, like, I need a job. I've been I read some people in the internet like desperately looking for a job, and uh, that act, that ese hecho,
Mm-hmm.
um, that way of asking for a job instead of
Doesn't work.
no, it doesn't work.
You need to play hard to get.
Exactly.
Maybe also like dating, no? If you show you're too interested,
Yeah.
the person will be like, "Oh no, no." But
E-
if you're like acting cool, maybe
Exactly.
yeah.
Like acting like with time, right? Like with
Mm-hmm.
with cauteles in
Mm-hmm.
Spanish. I'm not sure.
Um, I still have another follow up question because in Bitcoin, obviously that's gonna be next question for you, but in Bitcoin, the open source concept is really popular
Yes.
because, yes, we're talking about money, we're talking about something really important that cannot break because if it breaks, a lot of lives can be destroyed. You know, it's not just a website that if something goes wrong, you can fix the bugs and it goes back. So Bitcoin is a good form of money because the code is open source. Is that something popular in Mexico, or are you encouraging people to participate in projects for free, but to kind of have like more visibility. Is that like something popular here? Or?
Sure. Thank you for reminding me. It's I think one of the greatest advices. Uh, Having your GitHub as a software engineer, your GitHub profile, and not only creating the GitHub profile, but participating in open source projects, as you mentioned, makes you gives you visibility. Visibility is in English, and maybe most of the people don't want to participate in these projects because they think, no, I need money. But it's a way to it's a way that other companies, other people turn to look at you, that you are there also looking for a job or available or knowing your skills, about your coding skills, right? Because you are doing it for free,
Yeah.
but you are showing what you are doing, what you do good, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, open source projects is also a good door to find a job.
Great. Let's pass to the Bitcoin part. So,
Yeah.
you have been starting getting interested in the Bitcoin scene in Merida. So what is, it's kind of a question that every person will ask on the podcast, but what is your origin story with Bitcoin? How did you maybe first heard about it years ago and you didn't get interested, but now you are? Tell us a bit about that.
Mhm. Sure. Well, when uh, when I first heard about Bitcoin was in 2012 or 13, so more than 10 years ago. I was working for a consulting company of software engineering services in the north of Mexico, Hermosillo, Sonora, and my developer coworkers started talking about Bitcoin and started telling everyone in the office, hey, have you invested in Bitcoin? And what is Bitcoin, man? It's a digital cryptocurrency, and you should like invest on this, but they also were talking that sometimes the value of Bitcoin go high and then go down and go lower or something. And there was a very good conversations about this. I didn't understand much at that time, but I was just listening to them because they always talk about very interesting topics. Well, the point is that last year I moved to Merida to produce to start a season of my podcast that is called Chambeología. And when I moved to Merida, I didn't know a lot of people, and I am very good friend of a guide in Guadalajara that is named Robert. Do you know him? No,
No.
he is from Netherlands but lives in
Oh, yes, yes,
yes
yes.
lives in
I
Guadalajara.
didn't know he was a guide. I was thinking he was a lawyer, but maybe he changed their profession.
No, he's a lawyer.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, he's. And but we met several years ago in a hacker space in Guadalajara called Hacker Garage. Yeah. So when I told him that I was moving to Merida, he told me, I'm going to add you to this WhatsApp group, the Mayan Bitcoin, in order for you to meet people. And I was like, there's a community of Bitcoin in Merida. Yeah, and he told me, oh, okay, nice. So I moved to Merida, and when I read that there will be a meetup of Bitcoin I said, oh, I want to be there in order to get to more people and have new friends. And that's where I met Amanda. I think you know her. Yeah.
Yes.
And
She's also escaped Canada before me, but for similar reasons, I'm guessing.
she's great. She's a great person, and yeah. Then in these meetups, in these Bitcoin meetups in Merida, all of the topics were about Bitcoin and how to invest in Bitcoin. Actually, there was a meetup where Amanda asked me to the both of us to record a video about Swapido.
Yeah.
In that time, Swapido, and we recorded it in a restaurant, and in live in the video we show how to pay our bill in that restaurant, uh, with bitcoins, transferring to pesos, and then paying to the restaurant. So that was my first time that I heard about Swapido. That I guess people in your audience know about what Swapido is.
Well, probably not, but because now Swapido is called Aureo.
Oh no.
So yeah, we started as a Bitcoin to pesos off-ramp. So that's when I first heard about you, is when you published the video. And I was really intrigued that a high profile like you, a star like you, was using our product. And so yeah, I was really happy to see the video. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Sobre José Alarma. Ahí está.
So yeah, there is Bitcoin communities popping up everywhere in Mexico at the moment, and Merida always has been a strong, place. Partially and mostly due to Amanda, I think. I met her already 3 years ago, I think, because I was doing a tour. There was a friend called Paco de la India. He's an Indian guy that was doing the tour. He visited 40 countries, and his mission was to use Bitcoin. So when he came to Mexico, we met him in El Salvador first, me and my partners at Aureo. I told him, hey, I can organize a whole tour of Mexico using Bitcoin, and we did 7 meetups. I think Mexico City, Guadalajara, Puebla, Querétaro, Puerto Vallarta, and Mérida. We ended up doing, or I think I'm forgetting one. So we met with Paco and Amanda in Mérida. We did they did like the first Bitcoin conference. So yeah, the movement is growing.
Yeah.
Anyways, that too much about me. So what is happening in Merida? Can you tell us how is the community there? Is it more technical, or is it more beginners like starting to learn about Bitcoin? How do you see this community?
Well, in these years that I was living there, in this Mayan Bitcoin community, I met a lot of investors in Bitcoin, a lot of entrepreneurs that are um, finding a way to their business to have a relation with Bitcoin, or to insert Bitcoin as a service. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're more about entrepreneurship than technical, than developers. In Merida, there are a lot of software engineers. That was the reason that I moved there, because I wanted to interview them. But most of them are not in this community, right? Most of the people that I met, not yet, but most of the people that I met there were from entrepreneur profile. A lot of foreign people living in Merida, that I met in this community, like Amanda, that is coming from Canada, and there's another guy that really get along with him from his name is Steve from England.
Yeah, I know him too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is the core community, right, in Merida, but they are making more local people in Merida to know about Bitcoin, and that's why I respect about them. Actually, Amanda once told me that there used to be a coffee shop that accepted Bitcoin. I'm not sure if it's still alive there in Merida, but it used to be. And this December, the good part, this December there will be a big conference. I think the first conference in Spanish about Bitcoin, hosted there in Mérida for the people, and I'm gonna participate there as a speaker. I'm laughing not because I don't think I can do it, but because I'm very new in the Bitcoin environment, and when Amanda first told me, "Hey, I want you to participate as a speaker in this conference," I was really anxious about what can I talk. I'm just a recruiter guy. I don't I'm not a financial man or an economist, something like that. But reading about Bitcoin, I think this book, I'm not sure what's the name in English, but in Spanish is the Tesis Alcista de Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Have you heard about it? And do you know the name in English?
The bullish case for Bitcoin, or
Yeah, this one uh, enlightens me about Bitcoin and enlightens me about concepts like decentralization. And then I found the concept in internet reading and looking and looking and searching that there's also a movement called decentralized workforce. And when I told Amanda, Amanda, I think this topic that is a topic very related with my work and as has also relation with the philosophy of Bitcoin, and she was like very happy, like, yeah, that's the topic, and that will be the topic of my talk, the centralized workforce.
interesting. Yeah, I think there's 100% a lot of links because, for example, me at Bitrefill for 3 years, I was getting paid 100% in Bitcoin, and it was just easier for me, for the company. I think it makes total sense to integrate Bitcoin in this whole industry, and I'm also curious how, for example, your skills could be applied to try getting more developers interested in Bitcoin in Mexico, because I think there's a lot of movement in regards of Bitcoin in Mexico, but still we're lacking interest from the developer community. Here at La Casa, yes, we have some developers, but I think we need to do some hackathons, to do some activations or workshops for people to start getting interested. So if you want to help me,
Totally. I think I can totally help with that.
perfect. Um,
Because now I trust in Bitcoin, right? After reading, after informing myself, I'm not sure if informing is the right word in
yeah,
English, but yeah, now I trust, and after the people that I have met in this Bitcoin community, it's people very trustable. So now I I always say to the going back to my recruitment work, when I got a new client, a new company that I'm going to send them talent, I always tell them, please tell me about your company, because recruitment is sales,
mhm,
and I'm not gonna sell something that I don't trust in. So
absolutely.
so I need to trust in your company, in what your company does,
Mhm.
in order to do a better recruitment, right? So now that I trust in Bitcoin, I think I can do a good enlightenment in about this topic to the developers.
We're gonna use you for the good cause. um, yeah, so the conference we're talking about, Mayan Bitcoin Conference, it's still not too late to buy a ticket. This episode will go out tomorrow, so
Oh, really?
yeah,
Nice.
there's no point of waiting, I believe. So the conference is from the 4th to
To
7th December,
7
right?
December.
In Merida, and I think there's some people might wonder if Merida is safe, and
Yeah,
you probably can
yeah.
tell Merida is one of it's the safest big city in Mexico, and probably safer than most American cities. So really good food, really good. The only thing that is really bad about Merida for me is the hot.
Yeah, also for me.
But I think it's you can tolerate it.
But
Tolerable.
you have cenotes, you have the beach, right?
You get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Maybe what last question about Bitcoin, and just to close off the podcast, what do you think is missing in Mexico for a wider Bitcoin adoption from your personal perspective?
Me as a Mexican living my whole life here, um, we don't have financial education, man. We don't. It's not something that we learn in the university. It's not something that we learn at home with our parents, with our family. So I think what we first need in Mexico is financial education, and 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 when we start um, making conscious of our ahorros,
Savings.
savings, sorry, um, then learning about Bitcoin would be very easy because um, for me Bitcoin is freedom. Yeah, for me Bitcoin is not only a value, is a philosophy behind Bitcoin, right? To be the owner of your money, of your value, of your savings. So I think we can start with financial education in Mexico, and also Bitcoin is coming after this because is the safest way to be the autonomous of your money.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This was Hugo Hernández, Don Chambitas. If you're a foreign company and you want to hire in Mexico, great developers, you know where to go. And if you want to meet Hugo, well, the best place will be at the Mayan Conference. Any last words or something I didn't mention or forgot to ask you that you would like to say? Last words.
That you if people in Mexico City is listening to this episode of your podcast, um, they can find us also in La Casa del Satoshi, where we are in tonight place, and where I think we should arrange more events about Bitcoin.
We will. We will.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
We're cooking something for like a posada, but like a special version of a Bitcoin posada.
Oh, nice.
That's gonna be really nice.
Nice.
Yes.
In these months that I've been living in Mexico City, recently from September to now.
No, it's gonna be in December. We're gonna do like a Bitcoin posada in La Casa de Satoshi.
Yeah, but in my case, that I've been living in Mexico City from September to now. The only 3 months, and the best party that I've been in these days was the carne asada from Audio. Really nice party. I met really nice people. So if the posada it will be something like that, I want to be there.
It's gonna be better. Actually, I don't want to brag, but I know how to organize party and how to make a good Mexican party, even if I'm not here. But that's really nice to hear that you really enjoyed it. And yeah, we do a lot of events like this. Also, educational events, you will see. So not just parties, but yeah, when we do a party, we do it good.
Yeah, education is good, totally fierce, right? Yeah.
All right, I think that sums it up. That was great. Don Chambitas again. I will put all the links in the description for the people. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Was great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Gracias.